Hello, my name is Ravi Verma. I'm the org whisperer at Smooth Apps, and I'm a Scrum.org professional Scrum trainer. Today I want to talk to you about what is an effective retrospective in professional Scrum. So let's start by talking about what is a retrospective. A retrospective is one of the 5 mandatory events of Scrum. Like all other events, it's an opportunity to empirically manage some aspect of Scrum. Empiricism is transparency, inspection, and adaptation. And the intent of a retrospective is to encourage the Scrum team to pause, reflect intentionally on how they've been interacting, get transparency into their interactions, inspect how effective are these interactions, and then identify specific actionable improvements that they are going to make as a way of adapting their interactions and their team in the next sprint. So let's talk about who attends. This event is primarily intended for the Scrum team to attend. I have found in my experience that to preserve the safety and to increase the transparency, it would be better if we do not invite external team members outside of the Scrum team to participate in the retrospective. So we spoke about what is a retrospective, why do we have it, who attends it. Now let's talk about when does it happen. The retrospective should happen after the sprint review for the current sprint and then before sprint planning for the next sprint. The duration is time boxed to a maximum of 3 hours for a 30-day sprint and then proportionately smaller for smaller sprints. The Scrum Master participates as a peer and also makes sure that they discharge their primary accountability to make sure that the team members understand what is the intent of the retrospective, and then the Scrum Master might guide and facilitate the conversation if they feel that it's going off track. Okay, so now let's talk about what is the format, what might be the possible format or agenda items or flow of the conversation. The Scrum team starts talking about about how this current sprint went. What are the things that went really well? Let's rank order them so that we keep doing these things. And what are some things that could have gone better, especially when it comes to delivering high quality, valuable, shippable increments to our stakeholders. Once the team has identified what went well and we should keep doing, and what could have gone better as a means to identifying what we might try to do differently in the next sprint, they start looking at the interactions from different lenses. One lens could be, let's talk about our relationships with each other, our interactions with each other. Another lens could be, let's talk about tools. Let's talk about development practices. Let's talk about processes. And one of the most important agenda items for the retrospective is to ask the question, did we learn something in the last sprint that might help us improve the quality of our future increments? And one specific way to do this is to look at your definition of done. Perhaps you look at some new regulatory standards, maybe some production issues that came up, and then see, could we tighten our definition of done so that we can create more high quality, high value increments in the future. So by this time, we've had transparency into this sprint. We've inspected how might the interactions of this sprint compare and contrast to our desired interactions, and which of these are enabling the target, which is creating value, and which are impeding or inhibiting the target, which is creating value. Okay, so now it's time to start talking about adaptation, the third pillar of empiricism. This is where the Scrum team self-organizes and identifies at least one actionable improvement that they are going to take in the next sprint as a result of the retrospective. If we don't convert these thoughts and ideas into adaptation or action, the retrospective may become just a whining or a complaining session, right? So transparency is important, inspection is important. Both are necessary but not sufficient for empirical management if there is no follow-up action or no adaptation. So that brings us to the end of a brief overview of an effective retrospective in professional Scrum. Remember, this is not the only time at which the team can come up with improvements to their interactions. However, they must use this opportunity at least once every sprint to talk about improvements, right? So you can improve at any day, any time of the sprint, but in addition to that, you must take at least one formal opportunity, which is the retrospective, to reflect and to identify how you might improve in the future. So I hope you found this useful. Once again, my name is Ravi Verma. I'm the org whisperer at Smooth Apps and Scrum.org professional Scrum trainer. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to connect with me on LinkedIn, on Twitter, or just shoot me an email. And I would love to answer any questions you might have. Thank you. Keep calm. Scrum on.